I believe any woman who is thinking about starting a family or expanding their family should have this screening. Why not administer this simple test that could prevent so many struggles?
In America today, 8% of children have a learning disability, and it looks like the numbers are rising.
You see visual perceptual problems, memory problems, thought organization, difficulties with language, writing, reading, spelling, speaking, expressive language, receptive language. There are also those who have difficulties with math as well because of visual spatial perceptual problems and visual spatial memory.
Joy Hauge doesn't have learning disabilities, but both her brother and sister do.
Every day it was a fight to prove themselves.
Because you can never escape your mind. Even if he goes home and tries to hide away from this problem, it's always going to be a part of him. It's not just an academic thing. It's an emotional, social,
Between the social stigma and the teachers not understanding or thinking he's lazy or dumb or he can't do this and can't do that.
They don't want to show that, but everyone can see it. It's a very painful thing.
Any of these problems can last a lifetime. Scientists are still uncovering the causes of learning disabilities. Some may be inherited, some may come from the environment. We've made this video to tell you about an important factor that may contribute to learning disabilities, and to let you know what action you can take to protect your future children.
My husband Ryan and I were ready to start a family, and we wanted to do everything we could right from the start to make sure the child we conceived would be healthy.
So I went to see Dr. Parham, my family doctor. We talked a little bit about my siblings and if there's anything that I could do to prevent that type of a disability in my future child.
Not all learning disabilities are preventable, but the surprising thing I learned is that some could be.
First of all, you want to remember that throughout your pregnancy, good nutrition is going to be the most important factor in growing a nice, healthy baby. One thing that I think we should screen for is something called hypothyroidism.
So I went and got my blood tests, including the test for thyroid.
Okay, Joy, thanks for coming back in. It was a really good thing that we did that TSH screening test. Well, the test results are right here, and you can see that the TSH, which is this number right over here, that's thyroid stimulating hormone number, is just a little bit on the high side. It's at about 5.2.
Okay.
This is a really good time for us to pick this up, because we'll be able to give you a medication that's going to supplement the work that your thyroid is trying to do but isn't doing quite well enough, okay?
After I left my doctor's office, I wanted to learn more.
The more I thought about it, the more I realized I can't be the only future mom whose baby is at risk because of a thyroid problem I didn't even know I had.
So I decided to talk to some experts.
And the thyroid is in your neck, actually just below the skin, and you can even feel the thyroid gland if it becomes diseased.
Your thyroid controls your metabolism. In a pregnant woman, it also affects her baby's metabolism. Thyroid-stimulating hormone, called TSH for short, is what your body produces to tell your thyroid to do its job. If your thyroid isn't working hard enough to regulate your body correctly, you'll just produce more and more TSH, trying to get the thyroid levels up to where they should be to keep you healthy.
It's kind of like on a cold day, your furnace is running all day and it still feels cold in the room.
So, too much TSH is a warning sign that your thyroid itself is not doing enough to keep you healthy. This is the condition called hypothyroidism, which simply means low thyroid.
Probably the most important piece of evidence came out in the New England Journal of Medicine in 1999.
A study of women who had mild thyroid dysfunction found that their children performed less well on 15 different tests. These included intelligence, attention, language, reading ability, school performance, and visual motor performance. In almost all of these cases, the mothers did not know they had low thyroid, and so was not treated. 3% of pregnant women have low thyroid.
So this whole concept of maternal thyroid function being important for the children is relatively new, and people should know about it. It's an easy test to perform. It's a blood test that measures TSH levels. It's a cheap test to perform, and if there's any problem, it's easy to fix.
There are various factors that can cause hypothyroidism. One important factor has to do with things that are happening in our environment. Pollution and consumer products contain chemicals that may undermine the functioning of the thyroid.
What's not taught in medical schools yet is this concern about how environmental pollutants, the toxics that we're exposed to every day, can impact the developing system of our babies. If a chemical comes in and disrupts the hormone messaging system, particularly during the exquisite, beautiful development of the brain, then this whole sequence, this cascade of events won't happen properly, and that child may end up with a learning disability or lower IQ.
Not every learning disability is due to a mother's hypothyroidism, but even if only a fraction are caused by it, we might help to avoid millions of cases of learning disabilities by giving young women the right test and appropriate treatment in a timely way.
It really seems like a lot of learning disabilities could be preventable.
It doesn't cure all learning disabilities, of course, but it's one of the most direct and efficient interventions that I've ever heard of. It's very heartening.
It turns out that not every doctor will routinely give a hypothyroid test to a young woman who is planning to have a baby, but if you ask your doctor for the TSH test, most doctors will oblige.
So there's really no reason not to have this test performed, and there's no reason not to fix the problem if it exists.
I found it so amazing that this simple test was not part of the overall routine prenatal screening, and it's so important for every woman in this stage of life to go and ask their doctor about this TSH test.
Ask your doctor to give you the TSH test for your thyroid before you get pregnant, or as soon as you know you are pregnant. Your child will thank you.